Groovy English Podcast.
Hey there! Welcome back to Groovy English. I'm Chloe.
And I'm Aiden. We share real stories, useful tips, and everyday English to help you grow with confidence.
Wherever you are in your English learning journey, we're glad you're here.
If you're enjoying the podcast, feel free to like, subscribe, or share it with a friend. Let's get started.
Hey friends, welcome back to Groovy English. I'm Sarah, and today I want to talk about something a little personal. Not just about learning English, but about life itself, what I do when I feel stuck in life. We all feel stuck sometimes. Maybe you feel like you're not improving in English, or maybe you feel confused about your job, your relationships, your goals, or just life in general. I've been there many times. And I want to share how I deal with that feeling. Not just as an English learner, but as a human being. So, make a cup of tea, get comfortable, and let's talk. The first thing I've learned is, don't fight the feeling. When I feel stuck, my first instinct used to be to distract myself. Watch Netflix. Eat junk food. Scroll on my phone for hours. Pretend everything is okay. But I realized that doesn't solve anything. Now, I try to just sit with the feeling. I tell myself, okay, I feel stuck right now. And that's okay. Sometimes I even write it down in my journal. I feel like I'm not moving forward. I feel confused. I don't know what to do next. It's not dramatic. It's just honest. And being honest with yourself is the first step out of that stuck place. This one is hard, especially for me. I'm the kind of person who wants solutions immediately. But I've learned that when I'm stuck, forcing progress can actually make things worse. It creates more pressure. Instead, I take a step back. I give myself permission to not have all the answers. I go for a walk. I do laundry. I cook something simple. I read something that has nothing to do with my problems. It's not avoiding. It's creating space. When your mind has a little breathing room, it often finds its way naturally. Whether it's life, learning English, or work, when things feel messy, I go back to the basics. For example, if I feel stuck in English, I go back to simple listening practice. Not complicated grammar. Not test preparation. Just listening to English that I enjoy, like a podcast or a YouTube video. If I feel stuck in life, I go back to simple routines, drinking water, taking a walk, calling a friend, cleaning my space. These small things don't seem powerful, but they bring order to chaos. And sometimes that's enough to restart your engine. When I'm stuck, it feels like it'll last forever. But it never does. Ever. I've had times in my life where I felt completely lost, like I had no direction. But looking back now, I see that those moments didn't break me. They shaped me. So now, I say to myself, this is temporary. I don't know how long it'll last, but it will pass. Just like a rainy day doesn't last forever. That reminder helps me stay kind to myself while I wait. It's easy to think, I need to change my whole life. But that's overwhelming. So instead, I pick one tiny thing and change it. For example, I'll change my environment a little, move a piece of furniture, buy a plant, clean my desk. Or I'll change my routine, wake up 30 minutes earlier, or go to bed without my phone. It's amazing how one small change can give you new energy. You don't need to rebuild your life overnight. Just change the lighting and see what happens. When I feel stuck, social media makes it worse. Everyone looks so productive, so happy, so together. But that's not real. That's the highlight reel. I know this, and yet, sometimes I still fall into the trap. So I log out. I delete the app for a few days. I reconnect with my own timeline. Everyone moves at a different speed. My life isn't behind. It's just different. And that's okay. Instead of, what's wrong with me, or why am I not doing better, I try to ask gentler questions like, what's one thing I can do today that would make me feel a little better, or what do I need right now, rest or action? Sometimes I would also think, what am I learning from this moment? Questions are powerful. They help me shift my focus from blame to curiosity. Often, feeling stuck comes from losing connection with your purpose. You're doing things, but you forget why. So I go back to my why. Why am I learning English? Why am I in this job? Why am I trying to grow? When I reconnect with my purpose, like wanting to connect with people around the world, or wanting to tell my story, it gives me fuel again. Even if my path isn't clear, my why is like a lighthouse. It helps me keep going. Sometimes, I don't need advice. I just need to hear myself say things out loud. So I talk to a friend. Or I talk to myself while walking. Or I make a voice note on my phone. Saying it out loud brings clarity. It untangles the thoughts in my head. I've even started talking to myself in English, which helps my fluency and helps me process emotions at the same time. It sounds silly, but it works. Try it. When we feel stuck, we often forget how far we've come. So I make a list of wins, big or small. This list would include things like, I used to be afraid to speak English. Now I can order coffee confidently. And, I used to doubt myself constantly. Now I take more chances. Or, I used to feel lost. Now I have a few more tools. Progress isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet. You just have to notice it. Books are my therapy. Especially when I feel stuck. I read something inspiring, something poetic, something that makes me see the world differently. Sometimes it's a novel in English. Sometimes it's a quote that gives me hope. I highlight the parts that hit me deep and carry them with me. One quote I love is, you don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step. That always helps. Being stuck doesn't mean you're failing. It often means you're about to grow. Like a seed under the soil. It's invisible, but it's not dead. It's preparing for something. That idea gives me peace. Maybe this season is slow on the outside, but something is shifting on the inside. And that's just as important. Sometimes, feeling stuck comes from doing the same things over and over. So I shake things up. I try cooking a new recipe. I take a new walking route. I try a new English app. It's not about being productive. It's about bringing play back into life. Trying new things creates new energy. Even if I fail, I feel more alive. I used to write only when I had something good to say. But now, I let myself create without pressure. I journal messy thoughts. I record voice notes. I doodle. I sing badly. This kind of creative freedom is healing. It reminds me that I don't need to perform or impress. I just need to express. When I feel stuck, thinking about the big picture overwhelms me. So I shrink it down. What's the next tiny step? Not, how do I change my life, but what can I do in the next 10 minutes? That's it. It might be drinking water, sending one email, practicing 5 new English words. Whatever it is, I do it. And that motion breaks the stillness. Laughter is medicine. Really. When I feel stuck or heavy, I watch something silly. A funny English video. A stand-up comedian. A feel-good movie. It doesn't solve my problems, but it reminds me that joy still exists. That I can still smile. That I'm still human. Some days are just blah. That's okay. I don't need to be amazing every day. I just need to show up for myself, even in small ways. There's strength in staying soft during hard times. And I've learned to celebrate that, too. I end my day by naming 3 things I'm grateful for. Even when I feel stuck, I can usually find something, like I'm grateful for a warm meal, I'm grateful for this quiet evening, or I'm grateful that I'm trying. It shifts my mindset. And slowly, things feel lighter. Sometimes, when I feel stuck, I remind myself that we don't always need to take a big leap forward. A tiny shift in perspective can be just as powerful. For example, instead of thinking, "Why is this happening to me?" I try to ask, "What can I learn from this?" That simple question turns me from a victim of my circumstances into an active learner. Suddenly, I'm not stuck. I'm just in a temporary classroom called life. I also remind myself of all the times I didn't feel stuck. It's easy to forget our progress when we're in a low moment. So I go back and look through old journal entries or photos. I reread things I wrote when I was excited about life. I reconnect with the version of me that believed things could get better. Because she still lives inside me, and she was right. Things did get better. Another thing I do. I change my environment. Even something small, like cleaning my desk, lighting a candle, or going to a new cafe, can spark something in my brain. Sometimes we think we need deep emotional breakthroughs, when in reality, we just need a change of scenery. I've also learned to stop fighting rest. We live in a world that tells us to push harder, hustle more, do better. But growth doesn't always look like action. Sometimes it looks like stillness. Like sleeping in. Like saying no to plans. Like sitting on the couch with a cup of tea and not feeling guilty about it. Music helps, too. I have a playlist I call my Unstuck soundtrack. It's full of songs that remind me of who I am, what I love, and how far I've come. I press play, close my eyes, and just feel. Sometimes that's all I need to shake loose the heaviness. When I feel stuck, I try to reconnect with my curiosity. I ask myself, what am I still curious about? It could be a topic I've always wanted to explore, a hobby I've neglected, or even a silly YouTube rabbit hole. Curiosity is such a beautiful force. It pulls us forward when everything else feels like it's holding us back. And then there are people. Sometimes, just talking to a friend changes everything. I don't mean venting. I mean really sharing, being honest, being heard. When someone listens to you without trying to fix you, your problems shrink a little. You feel lighter. Less alone. More human. Nature is one of my greatest teachers. A tree doesn't grow all year. It has seasons, just like us. There are times when everything blooms and feels vibrant. And there are times when the tree is bare, quiet, conserving energy. But that doesn't mean it's dead. It means it's preparing for the next chapter. I also write myself permission slips. Literally. I take a sticky note and write, I give myself permission to not know all the answers. Or, I give myself permission to feel confused. These little notes make me laugh, but they also give me peace. It's okay not to have it all figured out. One surprising thing that helps is movement. Not intense workouts, just simple movement, like walking, stretching, dancing in my kitchen like no one's watching. When the body moves, the mind starts to move too. I've had some of my best ideas after a slow walk. Books are another lifesaver. I don't mean self-help books, although those can be good too. I mean novels, poetry, even children's stories. Stories remind me that we're all a little lost sometimes. That being stuck is just a plot twist, not the end of the story. Sometimes, I ask myself a powerful question: what would I do if I wasn't afraid? The answer is always interesting. It reveals what I truly want, beyond fear. And once I name it, I can start walking toward it, one tiny, brave step at a time. When I feel stuck, I talk to my future self. I imagine her. Maybe a few years older, calmer, wiser. And I ask, what would you tell me right now? Somehow, that version of me always knows what to say. She's lived through this. She knows we make it. And you know what else helps? Helping someone else. It sounds strange, but doing something kind, sending a voice note, writing a thoughtful comment, giving a compliment pulls me out of my own head. It reminds me that I'm part of something bigger than my own doubts. Finally, I've learned that stuckness isn't failure. It's feedback. It's my inner self saying, something isn't aligned. That doesn't mean I'm doing life wrong. It means I'm growing. Becoming. Realigning with who I really am. And that's a beautiful thing. So now, when I feel stuck, I don't panic. I pause. I breathe. I listen. And I take the next kind, curious, imperfect step. So, that's how I deal with feeling stuck in life. Not with big, dramatic changes, but with gentle, steady steps. If you're feeling stuck right now, I want to remind you, you're not broken. You're just in a transition. And transitions are part of growth. Be patient. Be kind. And trust that clarity will return, maybe slowly, maybe unexpectedly, but it will. And if nothing else, just know that you're not alone. I'm right here with you. Thanks for spending this time with me. I hope this episode gave you a little light today. If it did, send it to a friend who might need it, too. Until next time, stay groovy, and take care of yourself.
Your English is shining brighter by the minute. Hit that next video to keep leveling up your skills. Or dive into our other episodes for more secrets to talk like a pro. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share to join the Groovy English crew.